Greetings, students. Once again, I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, and we're going to be talking about another group of organisms under biology that is called the Cnidaria. The Cnidaria. This group of organisms is called the Cnidaria. We have been talking about the different phyla in the animal kingdom, and we have introduced the first phylum, which is Protozoa. We have also talked about the second one, which is the sponges or the porifera, and today we want to look at the sponges. So the first thing I want to let you know about the sponges is that they are also called the colentrator. If you don't call them sponges, you can also call, if you don't call them cnidaria, sorry, you can also call them the colentrator. And in the order, this is the third phylum, starting from the protozoa, like I previously explained. Characteristics of members of this group. The first characteristic you discover in members of this group is that they are radially symmetrical. They are radially symmetrical. That means that their body cannot be divided into, the body can be divided into four equal parts. We have bilateral symmetrical, we have radially symmetrical. Of course, we also have asymmetric organisms. That means the organisms whose body do not have a definite body pattern. So in this case now, the body can be divided into four equal parts, as against the bilateral symmetrical we see or we can see in organisms such as Girdle and Blair, which we taught or mentioned in parasitology. Then another characteristic of members of this group is the fact that they are diploblastic. And when we say diploblastic, that means that they have two germ layers, two body layers, the ectoderm and the endoderm. The ectoderm and the endoderm. The ectoderm, of course, the outermost body layer, and the endoderm, the innermost body layer. However, sometimes, in addition, there's also a middle layer which is called mesogler, and I know this mesogler was repeated or was mentioned when we talked about the sponges or the porifera. However, there is a little difference between members of the germ layers that I just mentioned, that's been diploblastic, and what we mentioned in the sponges. We said that the sponges, the wall of the sponges have about three main cells: the choanocyte, pinacocyte, and the mesogler. So they have a kind of tissue that is not too developed. So you can't actually call them specifically germ layers or body layers. You just say that the walls, the body wall, is made up of three main cells. So, but the uh, organization in members of Cnidaria is a bit more advanced than that of the sponges. And that is why you can comfortably say that members of this group are diploblastic. By the time we get to platyhelminthes, you will now see another word, a triploblastic. That means that they have three body layers: the mesoderm, the ectoderm, and the endoderm. Then another wonderful important characteristics of these members of this group is the fact that they have what is called cnidoblasts. They have what is called cnidoblasts. Cnidoblasts. So let me mention them. The first characteristics, I said radially symmetrical. Radially symmetrical. Then second, I mentioned diploblastic. Then the third one is the presence of cnidoblasts. Cnidoblast or cnidocyte. This cnidoblast is also called cnidocyte. So it's a kind of a single cells, and of course is an adaptive feature that helps the parasite to evade predators. So they have these single cells, and these single cells contain some chemicals, some toxic chemicals. So the presence of these single cells is one of the characteristics that differentiates cnidarians from other organisms. And these single cells, This stinging cell is called the cnidoblast or cnidosis, filled with poison that is called nematocyst. Just a minute. Okay, so like I was explaining, the cnidocyte is the singing cell, is also called cnidoblast, cnidocyte or cnidoblast. So they contain singing cells, uh, poison filled, which is poison filled. The singing cells are filled with poison known as nematocysts. Nematocysts. Poison filled thread known as nematocysts. Then, of course, the body form. The body form. Now, it's important to understand that cnidarians uh, have two different body forms. We have the one that is called a polyp, and members. This body form that is called a polyp. This is the polyp. Is permanently attached to a substratum or to a solid object within the marine environment. But the medusa is a kind of a free swimming. Let me say the medusa is not permanently attached. So this body form is a type that is motile, or that you know moves from one position to the other. That is the medusa. So while this one is permanently attached to a substratum, this one is not permanently attached to the substratum. Mhm. So the that's the characteristics. That's the a difference between the polyp and the medusa. This one is permanently attached to a substratum. This one is free swimming. Free swimming meaning that it moves. It is not attached to any solid object. Then the it is also also important that you understand that unlike in sponges, where the the whole body is perforated, the whole body of the organism is made up of different pores. In the case of Cnidaria, they have one opening which serves as both the mouth and the anus, and for that reason, they're said to have a gastrovascular cavity. They are said to have a gastrovascular cavity. So, like I said, this is the medusa, then this is the polyp. This one is usually attached, permanently attached to a solid substratum within the aquatic environment, while this one is free swimming. Free swimming. The word is free swimming. Free swimming. Free free swimming. Meaning that it moves. So that is another characteristic I mentioned is the fact that they have gastrovascular cavity. Gastrovascular cavity. Okay, then it is also important that you understand that the members of this group have a centralized nervous system with no brain. So the nervous system is not so specialized for brain to be formed or for brain to be found there. So they have nervous system, but this nervous system is devoid of the brain, and they are mostly marine organisms. Mostly marine. Mostly marine. So when it comes to cnidarians, you discover that majority of the cnidarians are found within marine environment. And when we say marine environment, we're talking about the sea and the ocean. So the only one example of cnidaria that is found in the freshwater environment is the hydra. Hydra. So apart from hydra, the sea anemone, the sea anemone, the jellyfish or the aurelia, then of course the obelia. All these are marine organisms, are found within the marine environment. So the only one that is not found within the marine environment is the hydra. So where will you see it? you see it in the freshwater environment. Okay, then the next characteristic is the fact that they can also reproduce both sexually and asexually. So they reproduce asexually through budding. mm, Through budding. I've explained this budding countless times, so there's no need of going uh, into that again. So budding, and the body form that usually reproduces through this method is the polyp, the polyp, the polyp. And there's something I forgot to say about the polyp and the medusa. So the the medusa is usually a polyp that is turned the other side or turned upside down. Mm? While the polyp is cylindrical, then the the medusa looks like an umbrella. I just cleaned it here. So it's basically a polyp that is turned upside down. So members of the polyp, of those with this polyp body form, uh, are the ones that reproduce through budding. Then we will now have that what's it called again? We now have the medusa, members of medusa, are those that have the body form that is called medusa, are the ones that can reproduce sexually. So these are the characteristics of Cnidaria. Cnidaria. So apart from these characteristics now, the next thing is to talk about their classes. Their classes. We have the first class, which is called the hydrozoa. Hydrozoa. Mhm. Hydrozoa. And members of hydrozoa actually live as a they actually live in colonies. That means they are found staying together, aggregating together in colonies. But then we have a member of this class that is called hydra, and hydra is known to live independently. And of course, the body form in members of this group is the polyp, the polyp, the polyp. So they have uh, they have the polyp as their body form. The polyp is the body form. Then the next group is the scyphozoa, the scyphozoa, the scyphozoa. So what's the basic characteristics of scyphozoa? The basic characteristics of the scyphozoa is that they have the body form that is called the medusa. The medusa. So the body form of scyphozoa is called the medusa. And this is where you see the jellyfish, the jellyfish, the jellyfish, in particular, the one that is called the aurelia, the aurelia. And like I've explained before, they are basically marine organism, basically marine organism. And yeah, they're basically marine organism. Then the last one is the anthozoa, the anthozoa, anthozoa, anthozoa. This is where you see the sea anemone, sea anemone, sea anemone. Then the kind of body form you see here is the polyp. They have a polyp body form. Okay, I think that is all we can say about this group. Remember that in Anthozoa, there is no medusa. There's no medusa. There's no medusa in members of this group, the Anthozoa. Then the as members of Scyphozoa sometimes can alternate between medusa and polyp, even though the polyp is a transitory, the sense that is a larval stage that, of course, transforms or metamorphoses to become the adult. So, if somebody tells you that members of Scyphozoa are alternate between medusa and polyp, that's correct. However, the dominant stage is the medusa. The dominant part of their life cycle is the medusa, but they alternate between this medusa and the polyp. And like I said, the polyp is a transitory stage through which the larva transforms to become an adult. So this is basically the information I want to pass out when it comes to the study of Cnidaria or Colentrata. In the order that I've given you, remember P, P, C, P, N. So we have studied this protozoa, we have studied this porifera, we have just studied this now, Cnidaria. So I'm going to start with this in our next class, that is Platyhelminthes. So I want to thank you for being part of this class. As many as you know that we benefit from this, why not share to them? I am Saint Dr. Anhujon Uchenna. See you in my next class.